Welcome to the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics. For season 1, I'm speaking with Hispanic professionals and leaders in HR and business, all with the purpose of giving back to our communities. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Dr. B Show. I'm your host, Dr. B, Dr. Jairo Borja, and this week's amazing guest, I have the honor, the privilege of having Jackie Camacho Ruiz, marketing PR expert. She is the author of Latinas in Aviation. She's the CEO of JJR Marketing, and she's the CEO of Fig Factor Media. Amazing episode, amazing woman. She's helped me out so much in the process, in the journey. Actually, the Dr. B concept started as a conversation between her and I, and look at this. A few episodes in, and I'm so happy that she's come into my life. So I hope you enjoy the episode, enjoy the ride. Don't forget the course is out. Become a networking guru, transforming your way to success. Please check out my website for more information. Great opportunity for you to become a networking guru and fill that top of the funnel and consistently have leads and have prospects and never run out of people to talk to. So hopefully you enjoy the course, hopefully you enjoy the episode, and enjoy the ride. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. B. Welcome to the Dr. B Show. I have an amazing guest today. I'm very excited to have Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz with us. Jacqueline, how are you today?
I am doing amazing, and I am so honored to be here with you.
Thank you so much.
I love it. I love that you're launching this amazing platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was so funny how it was created. I gave you, and I shared it with you, and all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, here we are, recording season 1. That's how it works. That's how it works, right? Let's get right to it. So I know you wrote well, but my audience, tell everyone listening or watching about yourself. I guess we're going to start with that. We'll start light, and then we'll get aggressive.
Yeah. So a little bit about,
in general, who you are.
Yeah, it's and that sometimes tends to be kind of a loaded question because I can tell you that I'm not a singer.
Okay.
I've tried it, I've tested it, and I suck at singing. But everything else, you could probably put a checkbox on it, to make that happen.
Yeah.
No, but really, at the core of who I am is a servant leader, and I just happen to do it in a variety of ways, including being an author. I just launched my book number 18, which is Latinas in Aviation. I am an international speaker. I've been in 4 continents speaking and sharing inspiration. I've started 2 businesses. One when I was 23, 14 years ago, which has been more than a third of my life.
Yeah.
And then another one to support the journey of authors. As I had launched 6 of my books, I decided for my 7th book to have my own publishing company. And now I've helped, close to 100 people publish their books as well. So, it's like everything that I do and all the initiatives of the community with Young Latinas and my nonprofits, one in the States and one in Mexico, is all about being a servant leader. And that's the core. That's what drives me. And that's really who I am.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Servant leader. I love it. I'm going to throw this one at you. So let's say, I kind of went through the process. So let's say, for anyone who's looking to write a book, what should be their first step?
Start writing. I cannot stress that enough. Find those micro moments of inspiration and download your divine downloads, your content, your feedback. Like, start putting it down on paper or on the computer, but just allow those moments of inspiration to start guiding you, because you know what? At the end of this, you'll be able to structure, take away, put in all the stuff that you need to do. But if you don't have content, you don't have a book. So extend your soul, find those moments of divine downloads and inspirations, and find a way to, to create those interrupted moments of pure inspiration, because those are the hard things to get. Those are really the hard thing to, to get to. And I think that's when a lot of people kind of have a block.
Yeah.
So I have a musician here in the background.
Really? No, no, I'm only kidding. All good, all good, all good. So how'd you break into the PR business? Yeah, and B, how'd you start your marketing company, your JJR marketing?
JJR Marketing. It was kind of interesting because I came to the States when I was 14. I did not speak a word of English when I came.
Oh, wow.
But reading amazing books since I was 4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
the book said, you will achieve your success if you help enough people get to their success.
Uh-huh.
So that is the premise of a servant leader, right?
Yeah.
And I started intentionally doing that with everything that I did. So I came to the States, I learned English and German. I actually became a German tutor. Yes, I was
Wow.
the weird Mexican that spoke Deutsch. And I got a special gift from the embassy here
Right.
and eventually became a tutor. And I was getting paid to, in high school to teach other people German. And people were saying, you're 23 years old, you're going to start a marketing agency. You didn't even speak the language when you were 14.
Right.
And you're going to start a marketing communications agency servicing mostly Caucasian CEOs, 35 to 65 years old, in manufacturing, IT, or professional services. You are crazy. And something inside of me felt confident. And I said, you know what? I know that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to marketing. I might have an accent, but I know also how to get the resources of people that I need and kind of like embellish this amazing team with people that are experts in their field.
Yeah.
In that, the confidence that I got. And now people look at me and say, wow, I knew you could. I'm like, well, maybe that was not the case, when I first started, because I was an anomaly. I mean, it was weird. You're starting a communications agency. I mean, you could start a plumbing company or cleaning company or anything else, but like you decided,
Right.
But I think that goes to show that when you feel something in your heart and when you're ready to serve, bring the best of you, magic happens. And, here I am 14 years later, one of the top agencies here in Chicago and recognized around the world, for a lot of the campaigns that we've done. And, that drives me, that motivates me,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what skills did you, like in your case, in order to start your company, what skills did you acquire, let's say from your previous jobs or just life skills in order to have a successful marketing company?
Well, I think that I've always been very organized. So throughout the years, I took it upon myself to solidify those soft skills. So I would take time management courses, really sharpen that. I was also always, not only organized, but I was also very driven to accomplish things. So clients love that. They love the ability to have a dream and then have someone say, you know what, make it easy for me. Let's execute it.
Right.
So, but I feel like this unique combination of being Latina, because I bring a lot of passion. I get very excited about things. And I genuinely get excited because I know that my ideas are making an impact, right? And that combination between this whimsical, magical, like feeling, and also the pragmatism, the strategy, it's almost like, the only way that I can explain it is that I got my license as a pilot in the United States. I started flying 5 years ago. And then over 2 years ago, I got my license. So aviation gives me the explanation of what's in my brain because I love flying and I love the magic of, extending my wings. But I also have to look at the cockpit as a pilot in command because at the end of the day, I have to land.
Right. Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So in 2014, you started Fig Factor Media. What inspired you to start Fig Factor Media at that time?
Well, I was at some point becoming the Mother Teresa of book publishing.
Okay.
And I say that because, when people see that you've, that you have written 7 books
Right.
People are like, how do I write a book? How do I
Right.
write a book? How do I write a book?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then my husband started noticing, he's like, I think you're spending quite a little bit of time in, coaching, and this would be coffee meetings and lunch meetings and dinners and stuff, kind of downloading. So
Yeah.
then I started taking all that knowledge that I was repeating myself over and over again and started to package it up. And then my husband and I decided to create an entity that services authors. And because we already had the marketing agency and we had an amazing, robust team,
Right.
between the two companies, I have about 20 people that, support proofreaders, editors, designers, public relations managers, author concierges,
Right.
and it just became natural, say, what can we do? And it started off kind of slow because I wasn't really promoting it. I didn't even have a website,
Wow.
even though I'm a marketing guru, right?
Right. Right.
But it wasn't the plan. It was just like, hey, this is a container where I can house separate from the agency clients, because if we ever decided to sell the marketing agency,
Right.
we didn't want the business of the books to be part of the EBITDA
Right.
for sales for the agency. So we let's create a separate container. Well, that separate container has grown exponentially.
Wow.
And since the first year, I've quadrupled the size of that company.
Oh, wow.
And we're on target to, increase at least 50% in 2020, middle of
That's amazing. A pandemic, absolutely. Is there a difference between Fig Factor Media and then the foundation? Can you explain that a little bit, or is that the same thing?
The foundation is a 501c3 that services young Latinas ages 15 to 25. And we've serviced through mentorship 157 young ladies in the last 6 years. And Fig Factor Media is a for-profit international publishing house.
Got it.
That services, authors around the world.
That's awesome. Awesome. I looked at your profile a little bit. Tell me about, if I butcher it, I'm sorry, because I talk New York Spanglish. Instituto de Desarrollo Amazing Aguas Calientes. What is that about?
That is basically another nonprofit or an association, as they call it in Mexico. It's basically, for United States terms, it's a nonprofit organization.
Sure.
That is the base for a center that I'm building in my hometown for the youth.
Oh, wow.
So I had this dream for many, many, many years, and after coming back to my hometown after 18 years, I shared that dream, and my partner Gloria Romo said, I will give you the land. Wow. And our architect, Alicia Ponce, one of the few architects in the United States, said, I will support you with the renderings. I'll support you with, this project. And our vision is to bring that center to life by 2025.
Wow, that's amazing. You do amazing stuff for the community. As you said, a servant leader, right? I wanted always wanted to ask you, what made you get into becoming a pilot or getting into aviation?
I had sort of, I went to a hot air balloon show and I saw a plane that I thought it was a toy first.
Okay.
You could actually fly that plane. I was like mesmerized, by it.
Right.
And I got a discovery flight, and the bug sort of like, this is kind of amazing. Yeah. But it wasn't until about a year later when a U.S. military base invited me to be the keynote speaker at an island that is located in the Mississippi River, where 300 soldiers live. Oh. And they invited me to be the keynote speaker for this amazing celebration of the Latino Heritage Month. Yeah. And it was nothing short of amazing. I was already working with the aviation school to do their marketing. Yeah. And since I had an event for my 7th book, I just published my 18th, but it was when it was 7 books back then. Right. There's no way that I can make it to both. So I called the school and I said, would you give me a ride? Right. So they flew me to the private side of the airport, which was about 10 minutes away from the island. Sergeant picked me up, greeted by a 3-star general. 10-minute keynote, 300 soldiers, standing ovation, coin of excellence by the U.S. Army. Flew back, got in my sports car, made it to the event just on time. Oh, wow. And I said, what in the world just happened? Right. And I started looking at aerial maps. We call them sectionals. Yeah. And the divine download came to me. I said, I am going to be a pilot in command. I'm going to become a pilot, and I'm not giving up until I get my license. And now I'm pursuing my second license so I can fly bigger and faster planes.
Wow, that's amazing. How, like you said, just one thought, one idea, you saw it, and then you made it into reality. That's amazing. That's amazing.
God knows is one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life.
Right. Like,
There's only 0.02% of the population are pilots, and
right.
6.5% of that are females, and less than half of a percent of that are female Latinas.
Right. Right.
It's a very small community.
Small percentage. Right.
Yeah, and my 18th book is actually called Latinas in Aviation, and is probably a lot of the Latinas that exist, in the aviation are in my book.
Are in your book. That's amazing. We'll talk about that in a bit. Hi, Dr. B here. Are you struggling to get rid of stubborn fat but don't want to have plastic surgery? 111 Spa and Aesthetics non-invasive slimming massage can help you get the body you always wanted. 111 Spa and Aesthetics can also help you when it comes to cellulite treatments and body contouring massage. 111 Spa and Aesthetics offers a full range of skincare services, including facials, acne, scar treatments, skin tightening, microdermabrasion, and more. 111 Spa and Aesthetics are trained professionals with extensive skincare experience and utilize only the best equipment possible. For more information, please visit their website at www.111aesthetics.com. That's 1-O-N-E-11. Leven, spaaesthetics.com, located at 10 East Moonachie Road in Hackensack, New Jersey, 07601. And to make an appointment, don't miss out, 201-520-1777, 201-520-1777, 111 Spa and Aesthetics. Hey, I also, speaking of books, like, what do you, I mean, we'll get into that in a minute, but what advice would you give Latinos trying to start their own business today? Like, if you could give them one tip, what would be that one tip?
The one tip is encapsulate your intellectual property. Define what you do that brings value to other people and package it up.
Right.
And once you have it packaged up, test it out, and then launch it.
Right.
And, monitor, grow it, whatever, but start out with knowing you and knowing the value that you bring to other people, those unique qualities that can be turned into profits.
That's amazing. And I know that firsthand. So thank you so much. So up to this point, I didn't let you know before, but I want to also ask you, a lot of people, some people want to get into speaking, right? You've done a lot of keynotes. What advice would you give to someone? What would be one tip you would give to someone who wants to get into speaking?
I would probably say, kind of similar to starting a business, like, how do you define the key message that makes you authentically you, right? Because Dale Carnegie said, earn the right to speak, right? What that means is that if you are speaking a certain subject, it is estimated that when you have invested 10,000 hours in something, you become an expert. You become a subject matter expert. Yeah. So speak about what you know. Speak from your heart. Be authentic. Right. Then find those places and vehicles that can be receptive and captive to that beautiful message. And I think that when you find that, and when you find those, connect those bridges, between what you know, the value that you bring, you'll find yourself, filled with amazing opportunities to make an impact.
That's amazing advice. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Just a few more. As far as this big buzzword, diversity, inclusion, what can us Latinos do to join the conversation for relevant, intelligent conversation, whether it's at the at ERGs, in the workplace, and or in their businesses?
I think that it goes back to you. Yeah. And it goes back to looking at your ecosystem, looking at, you as a pilot in command, and looking at what I do, my actions, my reactions, my motives, how do they impact, my ecosystem? I think so many people spend time and really don't spend time in themselves to know what triggers them, to know who they are, to know how to become self-aware and self-manage, to be able to then, understand what goes beyond and what place I have in those ecosystems. So that would be probably the best way, always go back to you, but then, understand where you're at,
Yeah.
in that ecosystem.
Great point. Yeah, you got to be true to yourself, right? At the end of the day. Hey, so tell me about the new book, The Latinas in Aviation. What inspired you to put this all together? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Little secret. I live in a magical world that I've built, that I've created.
Yeah.
My actions and reactions.
Yeah. Right.
I've elevated a lot of people, more people than I can count, and I don't even care to count because I don't keep inventory. I just spread the magic, plant the seed, and then magic happens. But the little secret is that I live in a world of ideas, but there are some ideas that race up to the top, and I call those divine downloads or inspirations. And so I have been hopping from divine download to divine download for at least the last 5 years.
Right.
And what I can tell you is that the manifestation, including Latinas in Aviation, that has come to my life in the last 5 years has been absolutely exponential. So the message there is, I had a divine download, I had an inspiration to write, to really, take the time to encapsulate something that, didn't exist before. Didn't exist, and to know that, that magic was created. Sometimes innovation is not creating something new. Innovation, a lot of times, is looking at how do you take something that already exists. We know that we have Latinas in aviation. We know that it's very rare, but there are Latinas in aviation, but there has never been a compilation of their stories in one single book.
Wow.
So that's, I think, where the innovation comes in. And that's where you have to know and understand where you're at and how you're bringing that magic forward, right?
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you hear me? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry.
You're on mute. It's okay. It's all right. So tell me the whereabouts as far as putting the book together. Is it, did you interview these candidates, or did you, how did that come about? Tell me about the actual piecing it together.
So obviously it's hard to find Latinas in aviation. I mean, it's just a fact, right? Because there's not many of us.
Right.
Even around the world, I mean, it's like, okay, how do we find, the captains, the aeronautical engineers, the mechanics, the, air traffic controllers? Like, how do we find them, right? So social media was my main vehicle, and partnerships with people that I know, like saying, do you know a Latina in aviation? Do you know someone that, can share their story, somebody that can make this happen? Do you know? And to be honest with you, the community came forward.
Wow.
The community stepped forward and said, yes, I do know a Latina in aviation, and I'll be happy to connect you. She's been dying to share her story. These stories are phenomenal because aviation has a power to basically, I don't know, it's almost like this bug, this, thing that gets into your heart, where you become extremely passionate. It's like you can't do it halfway. Like, be a pilot in command, or to be an air traffic controller, to be an engineer, where many lives depend on you.
Right.
It requires all of you, all of your heart, all of your mojo.
Right.
And that's what you find. You find a lot of people that are extremely passionate. They're giving the best of them every single time they fly the aircraft, or they route the aircraft, or they fix the plane. And that's what I've been able to find, a lot of passion in this amazing industry. And to know, like, sometimes, you come up with this idea or this divine download and you execute it.
Yeah.
And you have no idea where this is going to lead you.
Right.
And we have support from even, from NASA.
Right.
From, the former NASA chief engineer, who's a Latina. She did our preface, Evelyn Miralles.
Yeah.
We have the first, Latina that was part of the Air Force. We have the first Latina captain. We have the youngest captain, in Latin America.
Wow.
A lot of amazing historic, moments have been captured through the stories of these women. So
Amazing.
I'm in the middle of this, like,
I know. Amazing.
I poured my heart into this, and now it's like the more that we do, it's like, oh my God, we have over 350 people confirmed for the book launch event.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
In 2 days, right?
It's
that's what I'm saying. Right. Last two, and I'm pretty sure I'll let you go. So tell me about your. I love this line that you've taken off is optional. Landing your dreams is mandatory. Now, is that yours? Can you coin that, or did you get that from somewhere? Tell me about that.
So in the world of aviation, we always say taking off is optional, landing is mandatory. I mean, it's just like one of those laws or truths that we know about.
Yeah.
And what I coined is taking off is optional, landing and your dreams is mandatory.
That's what there you go.
And that, like, how do we take something that is, the magic of, flying, and how do we apply it to life, right?
Right.
How do we recognize that? We all have a whole bunch of thoughts, and we might say, hey, let's start a business today, let's launch a book, let's do this, let's do that. And how many of us actually land on those dreams? Many times you have 20 projects that are flying around, no pun intended,
exactly.
or collecting dust.
Right.
And people get excited, a lot of mojo, a lot of energy to take off, but not a lot of people land, So for me, landing is one of the most important things. And I think that's how aviation has brought, just so much magic.
That's awesome. Life. And how you're able to merge the two together, right? Mm-hmm. So where can people find you if they want to, whether it's hire you to speak, hire you to, to write a book, or just in general? How can people find you, contact information wise?
Jacqueline Camacho on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well. And, because I've been, in the process of changing my name, sometimes it's Jackie Camacho Ruiz. Or Jacqueline Ruiz, but on Instagram they can find me. Probably the most fun part of what I post is about being a pilotina,
right.
Or pilotina, which is the composed word of pilot plus Latina.
Yeah.
And so that would be kind of the best way. Or they can go to JackieCamacho.com with JACKIE Camacho.com.
Thank you so much. Amazing conversation. I learn something new every time I speak to you. So thank you so much for this amazing conversation. Hopefully we have my listeners have some great takeaways. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on the show.
You. All right. Take care. All right, everybody. That's Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and rate the show on your favorite platform.